So I did a little one about kind of the history of my brain injury and stuff. I can go and ramble and ramble. So I've got a lot of videos where I go in more depth about some things, but in a lot of them, I just hit a lot of topics and then I just kind of ramble about them for a while. But one of the things that I was talking about today was living in haunted houses and stuff. So kind of like my supernatural side of myself or whatever, the connection to that. So I'll kind of explain that a little bit. So when I was a kid, I was 3 years old, and we were at my grandma's house, the one that I was talking about, the nurse one. So I've talked about her before, and we were at her house, and my grandpa was there at the time. And I was told to go get my little brother, who was like 1.5, a glass of water. So I was really irritated about it. And I went upstairs and I went into the bathroom, and there was soap, and they had those little Dixie cups. Back in the day, we used to have little cups in the bathrooms for some reason. And now, I guess poop gets on everything, and so you're not supposed to have anything in the bathroom because, we've been living with poop on everything for our whole lives, but let's get real concerned about it now. Like, why are we thinking about it? I think we do better when we don't think about some of the gross stuff, or we can just focus on that. So, but back in the day, you drink and everything in the bathroom. I mean, we brush our teeth, we're brushing poop right in there into our gums. So, because it's on our toothbrush, right? People just get so, some of the stuff gets so crazy. See, this is how I go off and I ramble all the time. Okay, so let's just stay focused. So when I was a kid and I went into the bathroom, and I saw the soap, and I was like, I'm going to put soap in the water. Fuck him. Didn't think fuck him, but I thought that attitude was, that's bullshit. Why do I have to come get him water? He can walk. So that is when I heard him talking. And they started telling me that I better not do that. I'm going to get in trouble. And I started arguing with them. And then I went ahead and I decided I was going to go ahead and put the soap in the water. And they told me I was going to get in trouble. And so I went downstairs and I gave him the soap, and he started crying, and I got in trouble. And so then they started telling me that they told me I was going to get in trouble. And they made themselves very clear. Like, I knew there was someone different talking to me. I knew it wasn't my brain wasn't making these thoughts. There was someone talking to me, giving me guidance. And since I was a little kid, I thought it was, back then they used to talk about you had an angel on your shoulder and a devil on your shoulder. And they are both talking to you. It's which one do you listen to? And it's the same thing in that Indian kind of, I don't know, is it called a proverb? The wolf, you got both the light and the dark wolf inside of you. Which one do you give more energy to? And it's all about finding balance between the two, because we have both inside of us. It's finding that balance, and that is what we're in this big process about doing right now. So anyways, that is when I started knowing that there was someone talking to me, and I started talking back to them. And they started telling me stuff, like they started telling me we were like a zoo, that we were experiment, that we were being watched all the time. I was very clear about the supernatural, and that's probably why when I was a kid, when we were moving into haunted houses, it's probably why I had an awareness of it, because I was already aware of the supernatural side. I'd already opened myself up to it. Or I never closed myself off to it, because I think it's always there when we're a kid. I mean, lots of kids are talking to people who aren't there. So, and I don't know if it's just because I definitely have people tell me all the time, oh, that's not real and stuff. Especially when back then, everything was about church and stuff, and Jesus and God. And then every time I'd ask a question, it would just be like, well, there's no answer to that. You just have faith. And I couldn't align with that. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make sense. I kept thinking that doesn't make sense. And then plus I had people telling me about aliens and stuff. So I started telling people about what I was being told. We aren't Romeo and Juliet, Adam and Eve. We were brought here by aliens. We're aliens. Like, we're not we're not Adam and Eve. That's not real. Because they were telling me all this stuff. And so when I tried to tell people, they were just like, thought I was crazy. Nobody listened to me. They just thought I was imaginative. And I was a weirdo. Like I said in my longer video, I would, go to class, and I had this ability of being able to just leave my body, just leave it there. And then I'd come back to it when someone drew my attention back to the class. But most of my childhood, it seems like I wasn't even really in my body. I was just going out and other places. And when I was in my body, I was feeling pain and suffering and, taking drugs to try and make myself feel better. I was just confused. I couldn't understand this world at all. And I struggled a lot. And, but the supernatural was always real. Like I always knew it was real. And when I was telling people about stuff, and they would always tell me I was crazy. So the whole time I was growing up, and I couldn't understand how people couldn't believe, like how people thought like we built the pyramids and then we forgot how, and we lost all the tools and stuff. And being like, what? Like I couldn't believe that was easier to wrap your head around. Like I couldn't understand that, but now I see how much of it is just our programming. It's our indoctrination. It's how they get people to believe what they want you to believe. It's all part of the enslavement. It's manipulation of our mind to keep us as their slave labor. So now that's why I said so much started making sense to me through 2020. That really was about clearing up vision and what made sense and stuff, because I could not understand before how people were being so misled. I was like so confused, and I was under attack a lot, and I was not going to change and be different to make people like me. I was just I'm not like that. I don't need a whole bunch of friends or people around me or something. I was very much not confident. I was very insecure before all my healing. I had a lot of problems. I talk all sorts about those problems in different videos. And there was so many things, throughout my life I had to overcome. But, the spiritual world has always been a big part of my world. I just didn't know that it wasn't a part of everybody else's. So I couldn't understand how people couldn't see or hear or be connected to it, how they could even think that they could die. It was just a lot of stuff that didn't make any sense to me. So I talk a lot about that too, but that's just a little kind of, I don't know, commercial. I don't know. It is, but I talk more in depth. Like the longer videos, they are, like I do get rambly. There's no doubt about that. If you just want a quick short one or something, I'll try and do more short ones about the topic each time I talk about something. I'll try and do a short one to kind of do a synopsis. Because I do know that there's some people, I think, that like to have longer ones. Like you just put something on, and while you're doing something, they just want to listen to somebody talking, So anyways, I'm going to do kind of both. So I'll come back and I'll talk about something else just a minute.